to order at 7:01 p.m. Are we live at this point?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Before we get started, I'll just ask that everybody remain seated, but we'll recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United
States
States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So could we call the roll, please?
Yes. Dawn Cantafio.
Here.
Kevin Shively.
Here.
Michael Miller.
Here.
Lisa Valente. Lori Rosasco Schwartz. Tony Cinto. Mary Isaac.
Here.
And Donna Siddell. We have a quorum.
Okay, we have a quorum. So we just have 3 resolutions before us today for the committee meeting. Mr. Miller, would you bring resolution TC 28-91 to the floor, please?
Sure thing. Resolution TC 28-91, be it resolved, the submission of the Town of Trumbull, State of Connecticut STEAP grant, STEAP, is hereby authorized in the amount of not to exceed $1 million for the construction of the Veterans and First Responders Center in the Cats Pond site. And Vicky A. Tesoro, First Selectman, is hereby authorized as the individual authorized to sign the application and all subsequent amendments, reports, and related documents in order to administer and implement the project. Full resolution attached.
Thank you very much. Can I have a second?
Dawn Cantafio, second.
Thank you. And we have Mr. Baldwin here with us today, as well as First Selectman Tesoro. Does anybody on the committee have any questions of Mr. Baldwin or Ms. Tesoro related to this resolution?
Through the chair. Dawn
Please.
Cantafio.
Yep.
I don't know, Rena or Ray, if you could just basically go over what the STEAP grant is going towards for this.
Yes, so as many folks know, for funding the Veterans First Responder Centers to raise money from grants, individual donations, corporate donations, and foundations. So we had in our fundraising plan that we had presented to the Board of Finance and others, identified STEAP grant as a possible funding source for the project. As by way of background, the STEAP grant program had been non-functioning for years, but ironically, the day we were, I think Ray presented it to one of the committees, it got released again. Traditionally, the funding source capped at $5 per project. Can everyone hear me?
Somebody's echoing.
I hear background noise.
There's a lot of background noise. Can everybody who is not speaking mute themselves?
Right. Anyone who's not speaking, please mute. And I think you said it was originally capped at 500,000. Did you say? You cut out for a moment.
Traditionally, in years past, this grant funding source was capped at $500,000 per project. So some folks that are on this committee may remember that. That has changed. The solicitation has changed somewhat from previous years. There's a $15 million allocation at the state level. There is no longer a cap from what, that we have to stay under, although we have to gauge what's a competitive proposal and what isn't. So therefore, you see in the resolution that we generally put an amount or a not to exceed. We think that, $1 million gives us a little more leeway because that cap from the traditional STEAP funding has been lifted. So candidly, we are looking to submit by August 14th. That's the deadline for this funding. We would need this, Dawn, this is your thing too, oftentimes emergency legislation, because Vicky needs to be empowered before we submit. Is she here? Is she on? I don't
She
know.
was on,
Yes.
yeah. she was.
Yes, she is.
He needs to be empowered by the town council to sign prior to submission, appropriately. This is a requirement of the funding. We are going to apply for capital construction costs. We had a detailed conversation, Vicky, me, Ray Baldwin, the legislative delegation, Cindy Katsky, and Mary Beth today with our delegation, asking them to support our application. This application will be extremely competitive process this year because the grants were on hold for this funding source for several years. Now it's been released. I don't need to tell anyone what's going on with the economics during COVID, so everybody's looking for every dollar. So we need our delegation support. I think, Ray, and this is for you and Vicky, we had an excellent conversation today, and we're going to follow up that conversation on August 4th or 5th. And it seemed to me that everybody was gung-ho in supporting our application. So the application will be specific to construction costs. We're not going to delineate exactly what aspect of the construction costs it will cover. It will cover a percentage across the entire construction budget of that project. That's how it works. And again, we have to, they require that the project be shovel ready or near shovel ready. I'm reading from the solicitation when I say that. Remember, we had I believe we had a conversation with the Board of Finance, and I think subsequently with the town council when they were approving the plan, the capital plan, Maria, the one-year capital plan, I think. And we talked about the importance of a shovel-ready project or a nearly shovel-ready project to position us for this project. Well, we did the right thing, all of you who were involved, because we are nearly shovel-ready in that there's a full concept that's been at least a year. I think Ray has had that concept out there. We have a site committed. The Board of Finance and the Town Council dedicated the design funding for the project for this year. An RFQ went out for the architect. The committee that oversees this project is meeting tomorrow to make final interviews. There's been numerous meetings, but final interviews to select an architect, which means we will immediately be going into full design. So that the fact that we would have a site secure and have an architect secure and be in the design phase is a near shovel ready project. It doesn't mean we're going out to construction bid tomorrow. That would be shovel ready. We come under that category. So that's where the project stands at this point. I will work on the application when I get back from vacation. We are all working as a team for the application. And if anybody has any questions of Ray or myself, I'm sure we'd be happy to chime in and answer them.
I have one question through the chair. In the resolution where it says the backup of the resolution, the unspecified municipal match that's required, do you believe is the 200,000 that should be a sufficient match amount based on your knowledge of this?
That's such a good question. So when we drafted the funding plan and presented it, you'll remember that I talked about how important it was to articulate the town's contribution to this project. So the town has already contributed the 200, which will meet the matching requirement. However, we've definitely dedicated more. The property, through some process through Vicky and others, has been committed to this project. That has value. There are other things that are in kind that have value to the project, and there's a future dredging project there that has value and contribution to the project. So while the application says no, they're not asking for 25% or 50% match or anything like that. They're just saying you have to demonstrate skin in the game, basically, and I think we can demonstrate that.
Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. Any other questions for Ms. Bacalauer, Mr. Baldwin, Ms. Tesoro? Okay, hearing none, then I'll call for a vote on this amendment. I mean, on this resolution, rather.
Dawn Cantafio,
Yes.
Kevin Shively,
Yes?
Michael Miller,
Yes.
Tony Sinto,
Yes.
Mary Isaac.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Great. Okay. I didn't see Mr. Sinto's name come up, so I'm glad that you're with us there as well, Tony.
He has the Unity Park sign.
Oh, that's where it is. I didn't see your face. That's why. Okay, I was looking for your face there. Couldn't
I'm
see it. Sorry.
hiding
Got it. Okay.
for now.
All right, that's fine. Well, we can hear you. That's the important thing here. So then, would you mind then, Mr. Sinto, bringing resolution TC 28-92 to the floor, please?
Okay. Make sure I got I'm reading the right thing. Resolution TC 28-92 to consider an act upon a resolution which would appoint Bloom Shapiro as independent auditor for year ending 2019
Tony?
to 2020.
Actually,
Yes.
I think you read
Excuse me,
the
you've got to read the resolution.
actual resolution, the
That
second,
is.
the next page.
It has to say to be resolved. Be it
Oh, I
resolved.
got
Be
it.
resolved.
I had the wrong page. Hang on.
Yep.
I got to read the other screen.
Yeah.
Resolution TC 28-92, be it resolved that Bloom Shapiro hereby appointed as the independent auditor for fiscal year 2019 to 2020.
Dawn Cantapio, second.
Thank you very much. And I think we have Ms. Pires here as well as Ms. Tesoro. Any questions regarding this resolution or comments?
What is this for again? I kind of can guess, but I just want to just double check.
This is for the annual audit review, which is done every year. We have required by the state that the town needs to be audited by an independent auditor, and it's done every year. We did go out to bid, but we only had one bidder, which was Bloom Shapiro, and the plan is to go out to bid again in January. The reason the other bidders didn't bid is either they couldn't meet the deadline or they were not into the municipal business anymore.
Okay. All right. Thank
Through
you.
the chair.
Yeah,
I have a
Ms.
question.
Tapio.
I guess it's Dawn Cantapio. I have a question for Dan Shopik. Can we pass this without recommendation if we're going out for bid in January?
Well, no, this is Dan Shopik. This is for the audit that needs to start right now. We're going out to bid in January for next year's audit, for the 2021 audit.
Okay, thank you.
So Dawn, to clarify, we went out to bid for the auditors to audit fiscal year 2019, 2020. Unfortunately, we didn't get that much response. We did get Bloom Shapiro to bid. And the thought was, let's go out to bid earlier next year so we can get other bidders to have a chance to bid. Because I think this year it was either because of the COVID, people they can't meet the deadline. So I think for fiscal year 2021, we'll go out to bid in January.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And that was Ms. Pires speaking there, just for anybody who might be listening in. Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, I'd ask for a roll call vote.
Dawn Cantafio,
Yes.
Kevin Shively,
Yes?
Michael Miller,
Yes.
Tony Sinto,
Yes.
and Mary Isaac.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Okay, thank you very much. And we just have the one resolution left. Ms. Isaac, could you bring resolution TC 28-94 to the floor, please?
I'm sure. Resolution TC 28-94, be it resolved that the Town of Trumbull Retirement Plan is hereby amended. Full resolution attached.
Dawn Catapio, second.
Okay, who do we have here to speak to this resolution? I know obviously we have Ms. Tesoro here. If anybody, I think you're muted.
We have Jim Lavin, who's trying to get unmuted right now.
Okay, and Jim Lavin,
He's the
so-
chair of the pension board, and I also can assist on that as well.
Mr.
Okay.
Lavin, try the bottom left corner of your screen. There should be a little microphone that you can click on and off.
Just down in the lower left corner. Nope, still muted, unfortunately.
Okay, I think I'm on.
There you go. There we are. Okay.
Okay, well, thank you. As chairman of the pension board, it was brought to our attention earlier this year of an unfair and inconsistent practice where we had a town employee who died while in service. This employee had more than 5 years of service, but less than 10 years of service. And the benefit that the plan called for only allowed the employee's beneficiary to receive an insurance payment of $25,000 plus return of his contributions plus the interest. This was inconsistent with our practice for treating deferred benefit employees who would get a pro rata benefit based on their years of service from 5 years to 10 years. So the board discussed it at its June meeting, and we were convinced that it was an inconsistent practice. And we thought that in terms of fairness, that in a very narrow sense, an employee who was working for the town in an interval between 5 to 10 years be treated the same in terms of a beneficiary if that employee died in service as opposed to simply deferred vested. So we, at our June meeting, the board passed this resolution before you unanimously, and we're going through the process to see if you'll concur, and naturally I'll try to answer any questions you might have.
So I had one, Mr. Levin, this is Kevin Shively. So would this then affect that same person retroactively, or is this just for in future situations we would address this differently?
It definitely would affect the person that died earlier this year. He was the trigger. You'll notice that the amendment is retroactive to July 1st, 2019. So we want to cover this individual in fairness. And we have no way of knowing if there will be any future deaths. As you can see, the resolution is very narrow. We don't expect a lot of issues with it, but we do wish to be consistent with Article 9 and how we treat deferred investment. So I would describe it kind of like a housekeeping amendment that was triggered by this employee's unanticipated death.
Great, thank you very much for clarifying that. Any other questions, Mr. Levin? Or
Yeah, Kevin, this is Tony Cinto.
yeah, please.
Was this employee a union employee?
Say again, please.
Sorry, was this employee a union employee?
I
Tony,
personally don't know.
Tony,
I would
I
think
can-
it's a
I can
moot
answer-
point.
Ms.
Oh, okay.
Pyrus?
Yes.
Well, it's not, go ahead, Maria.
Yes, it was a union employee. This individual actually passed away several years ago, but was not eligible because of his age. And now his spouse was eligible to start collecting on his pension. And then we realized that this was not, was not comparable to if he was there till retirement age. So we felt like Jim said, it felt like this was an unequitable way of treating someone that passed away on the job. So this makes it more fair.
And in keeping with, you're saying with the way that we do this across the
Yeah.
board,
And
typically,
it just
okay.
keeps in, yeah, with the way we handle other retirees that are not fully vested.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just a couple more follow-ups. Will this change intrude on the contract at all? Or
No.
anybody's
What?
contract?
I don't believe so, no.
No? And what year did the employee die in?
I'm not sure, maybe 5 or so years ago. No, probably longer than 5.
5 years ago? Okay.
But the vesting just came due is what you're saying at this point, right?
Well, no, what happened is he was partially vested when he passed away. And then he was not eligible to, his beneficiary was not eligible to collect on his pension because it was not 62 when he passed. He would have become 62 now in January, and therefore his beneficiary was eligible to collect on the pension. Make sense?
Maria, or anyone can answer this, before this change, if this is changed, what's the current policy?
The current policy is that if someone passes away and that they're not tenure fully vested, his beneficiary would only get $25,000 life insurance and contributions plus interest. They would not have the option to take lifetime or 10-year certain benefit. It would just be the contributions and interest and the life insurance, one lump sum versus a 10-year payment.
So the change is gonna do what now?
This individual beneficiary will collect a pension, monthly pension for the next 10 years.
Plus the 25,000?
No 25,000.
So I think you're saying that in other circumstances, there's a choice, and in this case, that it was the choice that was not offered, and we're making it
Correct.
available to make
Correct.
that choice. I see.
Correct.
So let me just, one last thing, and I don't want to sound morbid or anything like that. Just, we'll put this aside of this one person. If say the employee has, say the employee's 52, and he's got 6 years in, and he passes away, him or her, and they can't collect for 10 years. How would that help this person in this situation like that?
Yes, because that makes 6 years, that person is, I believe it's 60% vested.
Mm-hmm.
And if they were on the old plan, it would be that their beneficiary could only be entitled to a $25,000 life insurance plus contributions and interest. That's it. In this plan, the new amendment would allow them to take an option, either take this $25,000 plus the contributions and interest, or take the 10-year monthly benefit.
But they got to wait 10 years to collect.
Either way, they have to wait 10 years.
Okay.
Either way.
All right. I'm just sorry I'm asking a question. I didn't see any you might have sent backup, but I didn't get a chance to look at it if he sent it or not. So
Okay.
that's why I'm asking. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you for helping us understand that. And then, Mr. Levin, you did say that the board did approve this unanimously, you said, right? All right. Any other questions? Or Ms. Contapio?
Yes, it was discussed at the June 23rd meeting.
And, okay.
Thank you. Dawn Contapio, through the chair. I have one question. Do we have a financial amount that this may impact the town at this time?
We did bring it up to our actuaries, and they mentioned that this will not be a material impact to our pension plan. It will be a couple $1,000s a year impact. And I don't think there's a lot of individuals in this category, because the fact that we closed the plan.
Yeah, that was my next question. Is there an amount of people, any number of people that you think would apply for this?
It's a handful of people. I can get more accurate information for Monday's town council.
Thank you, Maria.
Yeah, thank you. And just to clarify, this is the plan that is no longer offered to new employees.
That's
at this
correct.
point, right?
That's
Okay.
correct.
Kevin, it's Tony. I have one more
Yeah.
question.
Sure, go ahead.
Did you guys think about how many people might have passed away before that can come back now and get this benefit now, like later? Like say somebody passed away 5-6 years ago.
You know,
or
I
8 years
believe we
ago.
looked at this. I believe
Mhm.
we interpreted the plan to be this. To be that they were allowed to do either or. We interpreted it to be that way anyway. It's just that all of a sudden this came up and it was, you know, we read it more into it and it came out that it was not as clear as we thought it was, or it should be.
So you're saying this aligns it with what the plan had been
Correct.
assumed to be and had been planned out and budgeted
Correct.
for? Okay.
Correct.
Any other questions, concerns, comments? Okay, hearing none, I would call for a roll call vote.
Don Catapio,
Yes?
Kevin Shively,
Yes.
Michael Miller,
Yes.
Tony Cinto,
I'm gonna abstain until I can think about this a little bit better and the impacts.
and
For
Mary
now.
Isaac.
Thanks.
Yes.
Okay, it's 401.
Okay. Do we have any other business before the Finance Committee of the Town Council this evening? Okay, hearing none, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Don Catapio, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
And a
Mike
second?
Miller, second.
All right, Mike Miller, second. Thank you very much. We are in adjournment, and just to remind everybody, we do need to completely leave this Zoom meeting. Then, if you are planning to come back into the other link to the LNA meeting following this.